per year, per recipient, and not have to worry about any of this coupon or tax stuff. You won't even touch the tax system. Okay? Now that's per recipient. And it doesn't have to be family, it doesn't have to be friends. You can pick names out of the phone book and say, I'm going to give every third person there $11,000. As long as you don't give them 11,001, there won't be a problem. That'll be flying under the radar. Okay? So that's just something you probably heard about, and I don't want to ignore it. With estate tax planning, then, our two primary tools are that unlimited marital deduction and the coupon. The problem with a simple will is if I leave everything to my husband Derek, no problem when I die. That feels really weird because in all my examples, I always kill the men off first. It's just a requirement in my practice. So when I die, Derek inherits everything. It doesn't matter how much it is. But when Derek dies, if he died this year, how much is his coupon? It's $1.5 million. So let's say I died with $800,000, right? And it went to Derek. No problem. The problem is going to come when Derek has my $800,000 and his $800,000, and he lets it grow for the 10 more years that go between my death and his death. Okay? If he lets that grow for the next 10 plus years, and he can earn 7% on it, what used to be $1.6 million is going to be $3.2 million. Okay? Problem there. How much is Derek's coupon? $1.5 million. Well, wait a minute. What happened to my coupon? Didn't I have $1.5 million over there somewhere? Well, no, I let it go. You know those coupons that we have at King Soopers? What's the fine print? Expiration date. Well, my coupon expired when I died. And this is not the fine print on most King Soopers coupons, but it is on this one. No one else can use it but me. It's non-transferable. So when I lose that unlimited marital deduction, the Bill Gates treatment for Derek, we let my coupon just fade away. So he's only got his coupon to play with. And he's got a lot more money than his coupon. So that means that somebody's going to be writing a check, and I've been there when clients have had to write the kind of check like this. Nobody I know has ever written a $1.2 million check to the government before. But that's what they ended up doing. So how would we do that? How do we avoid that? Well, we just make sure that we don't give Derek anything. That works. Well, he's not too keen on that, actually. So let's talk about how we can give him the benefit of it, but not give him the title to it. Okay? Because let me tell you, most people I know, when they say they want to own something, they don't really care about owning it. They want to use it, benefit from it, and control it. So if I can give Derek use, benefit, and control, but keep it off his square for estate taxes, we get what we need. And we do that by giving it to Derek in a trust. Now, what kind of trust is this? It's coming in effect after I die. Come on, you knew there'd be a quiz. It's a testamentary trust. It says, set up a trust for Derek after I die. You can make Derek the trustee. You can make Derek the beneficiary. I would actually make Derek and my kids the beneficiary, but that's because I'm just a sweetheart. And Derek can spend it on almost anything. What he can't spend it on is Bambi the Hooters waitress. Okay, there are some restrictions, but they're not very big if we are creative. So, but when Derek dies, it's not in his name. It's not in his estate. So at that point, I've used my coupon at the first death to leave up to the $1.5 million in that trust, and Derek still has his amount in his trust, or in his assets on his square. So at that point, if we really did have $3.2 million when Derek died, our estate tax would go from $1.2 million to $330,000, and that's assuming we haven't done any under-the-radar gifting, for example, to make sure that it doesn't get to $1.5 million. So there are ways to plan, but a simple will wouldn't be one of them. Okay? What else can be wrong with a simple will? Well, I kind of alluded to Bambi. So if I'm leaving everything to Derek, and he hooks up with Bambi, what am I afraid of? Bambi's going to get it. Okay? We do a lot of planning. We see a lot of people with joint tenancy, right? Married people. They always have their house in joint tenancy. So I have our house in joint tenancy. I said always, very ironically, because it shouldn't always be that way. It should be based on your goals. If Derek and I have our house in joint tenancy and I die first, whose is it? It's Derek's. Then he marries Bambi. Well, married people always have their houses in joint tenancy, so what's Derek's going to do? He's going to put Bambi on. And so Derek dies. Who gets my house? What the heck happened to my kids and all that? Okay? So that's another reason that I might want to leave it to Derek in a trust. And I say, honey, you can do whatever you want with your half, but my half is getting to be used by you, but never Bambi. And when you're done with it, it's going to my kids. Okay? Let's say Derek's driving down the road. Okay? He's inherited all my money. We gave him a check. Derek, here it is. He put it in his bank account. And my kids aren't really that obnoxious anymore, but let's say they were a little younger. They were talking all the time in the car. He's distracted. He runs through a stop sign and he hits a 15-passenger Econoline van. Now, the reason I say it's a 15-passenger van, because every one of those seats is filled. And every one of those seats is filled with a lawyer. And he doesn't kill a one of them. He just wings them. So now Derek has 15 lawyers suing him. Because remember, he ran the stop sign. So what do you think Derek's going to have left after he has 15 lawyers suing him because he injured them? Derek ain't going to have nothing left. Let's just get rid of grammar there, okay? But what if we said instead, well, what Derek inherited from me is in a trust. And we've said in the trust we can spend it on Derek, but no, we can't spend it on the people he owes money to. Unless he chooses to take it out for his benefit and then give it to them. No forcing out of that. Got an argument. It's won more than once. Okay? But we couldn't do it if I just said, Derek, here's a check, I'm dead, have a nice life. So that's the kind of planning we can do to protect our loved ones. And we can do that for the kids as well as for Derek. Right now my kids would never get anything, so. Okay? So we've talked about your wishes. We've talked about your documentation. Through talking about estate taxes, we talked about the law. I'm just going to remind you again that they all have to line up. So if you've got a will that has your wishes, and you've put it all into the right documentation, what happens if you own everything in joint tenancy or beneficiary designations? What does the law do to your game of tic-tac-toe? See? Let me remind you. If it's in joint tenancy, will the will control it? No, it goes to the surviving joint tenant. Okay? If you've named someone as the beneficiary of your life insurance, will your will control those proceeds? No. So I want you to think about this couple. And this time I am killing the man off first. Okay? And what he has is they have a house that's in joint tenancy. He has a 401k at work. Who did he name as the beneficiary? Of course he did. And he has a life insurance policy. Who did he name as the beneficiary? Okay. So he has a car. It may be in his name, but more likely it's in joint tenancy with his wife. So now he dies. And he's got a will, and the will is either set up to do all this tax planning, or it's set up to make sure that if she hits the van full of lawyers, she can still keep some of the money. He's done a lot of good things through that piece of paper. Is the piece of paper going to do him any good? No. Because I remember we said joint tenancy and beneficiary designations are not controlled by the will. Okay? So that's when we say the law has to line up with all your other stuff. So you either have to decide to change your beneficiary designations, to change your joint tenancy out of joint tenancy or something else, or to set up a living trust and just make sure the living trust has it all and you can decide the rules of the living